What's up? This is the Game Forums Extended Forum, episode 25. Today we're going to be talking about the Marvel's Avengers game, Star Wars Squadron, Ghost of Tsushima, the Cyberpunk gameplay, and the Fallout Amazon TV show. But first, what have you been playing?
So, still been working on some of the Battle Pass stuff for Crossout.
Of course.
Crossout actually just added in another seasonal mode. It's very much like, was it Rocket League? Where you kind of have like the car combat and it's like you're playing soccer. You can't really flip around as much like in Rocket League, but it's got the same kind of concept. It's a 3-on-3. You have a big soccer ball, and you can shoot arrows at it or hit it with a grappling hook and try and pull it into the goal. Of course, unless someone pulls it off of you or shoots it out of your grappling hook. So that's been pretty cool. Other than that, I've still been playing. I've been playing a lot of Last of Us Part 2 lately.
Oh, yeah.
Almost beat the game. I just got a little bit left, and then we'll have some content out on that one.
Yeah.
So should be looking forward for some stuff on that for next week.
Yeah. Cool. Is that all?
Yeah, other than that, that's about all I've been playing lately.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, so I actually got a lot done in the last 2 weeks. We didn't have a extended forum out last week, but so starting on, what was it? I've finished The Last of Us Part 2, which, like Lindsay was saying, we'll have a in-depth look, spoiler cast type thing coming out probably next week. Finish that up, and then I'm still playing through Batman Arkham Asylum. I'm still enjoying it. I'm not like as excited as I was before, just because of so many games have coming out, and like I've been playing a bunch of different stuff, and so that one's just kind of like I'll just pick up and play for like 30 minutes. But after I finished The Last of Us Part 2, I started the next game that was kind of on my backlog. It was a game I've been really wanting to play for a long time, and it's A Plague Tale: Innocence, and it's kind of like The Last of Us because it's like a big escort mission, but it has music by Oliver Deviere, who did the music for Bound by Flame and Greedfall, and those are like he's my favorite musical composer for video games, and so I was like super excited to get inside this game, and then it's really good, and it's also really dark because it takes place during the Black Plague, so it's really heavy, really really emotional. There's a lot of like pretty messed up moments in the beginning, and I'm really enjoying it so far. It's really pretty. It's heavily focused on stealth, and you have like a slingshot, and it's so cool because you go find crafting materials, and you go to workbenches, and then you upgrade your sling and like your ammunition bag and all this kind of stuff. So it's kind of like a smaller Last of Us, which is awesome. What else? Oh, did you ever play Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racer?
I did a little bit. I never owned it, but I did play it with some friends. I saw they just did a re-release. It doesn't even look like the graphics have been updated.
Yeah, so Episode 1 Racer was one of my favorite games ever growing up. I totally forgot about that game, and then I saw the trailer for it, and I got just insanely excited. So I bought it. As soon as it came out, I bought it, and I've been playing it, and it holds up so well. Yeah, graphically, it's not much different than what it looked like. Gameplay-wise, this is one of the most fun arcade racers I've ever played. I think it's better than Wipeout. I'm enjoying it so much, and it's also it's an easy platinum, which is really cool for me. But
how much is it?
$15.
That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all.
And it's totally worth it. The music is awesome. They have like the actual like licensed songs. They put different beats to it to make it more like up for like a racing game and stuff. But it's still like the Dual Fates is in there. It's just a little faster and tweaked a little bit, but you get the gist of it. You know it's there. God, it's really good. It's like really fun. You can customize, or not customize, but you can upgrade like multiple parts on the engines. And I totally forgot about the repair mechanic. I'm playing as Anakin, and so when you repair, it's like come on, like from the movie and stuff. So it's just really cool. Ironically enough, though, I had just recently gone back to my mom's house to like look for some stuff, and my cousin, who was doing some cleaning, found a box, and in that box he found my Nintendo 64. and then he found my copy of the episode 1 Racer, and so like I have it still. I'm like, oh man, this is cool because I think I found. Well, I went to go pick it up like a day or two after I had bought it, not knowing that he had found it, and so that was really cool. And what else?
That's kind of a cool coincidence.
Yeah, it was a crazy coincidence because I totally like didn't expect to still have it, and then I totally it just blew past my mind when I had heard about that game getting announced like a remaster. I was like, oh okay, well I don't, that's fine. But then when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh wait, this is the one I played all the time, and I loved that game. So I'm playing it. I'm enjoying it a lot. I definitely recommend it for $15. I mean, that's just super fun. And then I've been really wanting to play a JRPG, but console JRPGs are just insanely long. You know, like maybe 60 hours plus. And so I got on my PlayStation Vita and just started looking at JRPGs, and I found one called The Adventures of Mana. And I've heard about this game. It's a remake of the original Adventures of Mana that was on the NES or SNES. It's like 15 hours, I think, maybe a little less, and it was $10. And so I picked it up. I am absolutely addicted to this game, Lindsay. Like, I cannot put it down. I'm already like, I want to just play it again. Like, as soon as I finish it, I want to play it again. It is super fun. I was totally expecting it to be turn-based, but it's not. You control the character. You can go up to enemies, hit X, and then start messing up stuff. And then there's like you get XP for kills, and it just levels everything up. So you're just constantly like building up your entire character. It's not like traditional games where you like, okay, choose strength or choose intelligence. Just like everything, it just all levels up. You get new weapons every other level you get. I'm super just loving this game. Was not expecting it to be as fun as it is, and it's also an easy platinum. So I'm already like, oh, I want to go back and do that and get this. And also, so The Last of Us Part 2 is an easy platinum, and Plague Tale Innocence is also an easy platinum. So I got 4 games that I'm playing right now that I think I'm going to platinum these. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't. Realistically, I'll probably get like 1 or 2, but they're all pretty easy. But other than that, think I think that's it. I did download. So my oldest daughter loves Goosebumps. Specifically, she loves the Slappy the Doll, which was like for me the scariest part of Goosebumps. Mm-hmm. And on PlayStation Now, they have a Goosebumps game, and so I was like, oh, okay, cool. And it's one of those like point and click, like it's just a static image, and you click on things. It reminds me of like, I don't know, Myst or like the PC point and click games. And so I downloaded it. It's hard. It is like really hard, and because it's in this Goosebumps universe, I don't know to click on the rabbit 3 times and for it to spin and drop an egg that I'm supposed to grab. You know, I wouldn't expect that.
It's going to be like one of those games where you have to know everything about the universe to play it.
Yeah, one of the things is there's a moving truck that wrecked, and so you're supposed to go up to it, and you can kind of look at the back, and there's some collectibles. There's like, ooh, there's that from that book, or there's that from that book. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Not knowing, like, oh, well, you're supposed to grab the hat off of that and put it on this for it to complete this thing, for it to open up a portal. And I'm like, oh, my God. So I'm pretty much having to play it with a guide, but I am enjoying playing it with, having my daughter there. And we haven't got to the Slappy part yet. I'm assuming Slappy the Doll is going to be in it. If not, she's probably going to be upset. But other than that, that's all I've played in the last 2 weeks. There might have been something that popped up, but I don't remember. Those were all the ones that were really worth talking.
That definitely sounds like you've been playing a lot.
Yeah, well, I forced myself to rush through The Last of Us Part 2. I think I finished it in about a week or so. Maybe I think I started, the Friday it came out, and I think I finished it last Sunday. So, 9 days I think I finished it in. So it was tough. It was a very tough game to get through. But yeah, after I finished that, I was like, I'm just gonna mess around and play a bunch of other stuff and just kind of keep myself busy until Ghost of Tsushima comes out or Tsushima comes out. So I'm really looking forward to that game. We'll talk about that a little later in the show. So I guess we'll go ahead and go to the news.
Yeah.
So with the Marvel's Avengers game, they just did a war table. I think it was last week, maybe a little more than that. It's slated for September 4th, coming out this year. They did say that in the war table that if you bought it on PS4 or Xbox One X or Xbox One, you will get the next gen version for free, which I think is awesome. That's a cool gimmick that some developers are doing, some aren't. Uh, what do you think about the buying it on PS4, getting it free on PS5 type of mechanic?
I think that pretty much every developer should do that anyway. I mean, I
Yeah,
get they want to have people buy the game twice, but I bought what was it, Grand Theft Auto 5 on on the PlayStation 3, and for whatever reason, it was like they had like a really short window when you could upgrade to the PlayStation 4,
yeah,
and like I felt like just right outside of that window, and I was like, man, now I got to get it again because then my friends started playing it again. It's just irritating. I'm like, I've already bought your game. I think it'd be a lot easier now with like digital downloads and stuff than it's been in any console generation before.
yeah,
But yeah, I definitely think like, okay, if you've already spent the money on the game, they should give you an upgrade, especially since they can still get money out of you through microtransactions. I think there's a much larger incentive to do that now than ever before.
yeah. I agree. Especially like you were saying with a live service game, you can just like give them the game for free. They already paid for it once, and then maybe do some cool like next gen cosmetics to kind of entice them. Like, oh well, because obviously if they buy it on the PS4, let's say, and then they continue to play it on PS5, then you probably got your hooks into them already, so you can entice them with a little bit more. Are you excited about this game at all?
I mean, from when I first started looking at it, not really. The characters just seemed like almost like off-brand versions of themselves. I
Yeah,
mean, I guess I'm just so used to seeing the Marvel actors, from the Marvel cinematic universe, and I'm just so
yeah,
used to seeing them as those characters. But I mean, even beyond that, it's just like their faces and stuff just look, I don't know, like not natural or something. Like, I mean, if they went with something that's like they tried to be kind of close to the Marvel actors from the films, but
yeah,
then like pulled it back a little bit because like they're like, no, we don't want to be that close, and it's like it's left in this weird like uncanny valley for me,
yeah,
and so I was like, I don't know, we'll see. And like they keep talking about what the game is going to be like, and they're like, it's kind of going to be like Destiny, maybe Anthem, and then we saw how Anthem was.
yeah.
So after watching some of the gameplay, I'm a little bit more interested. The gameplay does look pretty solid.
It looks
Um,
fun.
yeah, it does look fun. I'm just kind of curious to see what kind of replayability are you going to have, because it doesn't really look like you're going to be out doing missions and stuff like in like Destiny. A lot of it looks way more cinematic, pre-scripted. Go here, do this. Go here, do that. Go here, do this. You finish the mission. Go back to
Yeah,
the helicarrier and now pick a new mission. So I'm kind of getting that vibe from it. I could be wrong, but
yeah. Did you ever play like the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games?
I did not. They looked interesting, but I never got a chance to play it.
That's what that reminds me of is like a Destiny live service version of that game, which could work as long as you have like a really compelling like loot system to keep you, I guess addicted to the gameplay. If
Yeah.
they can pull that off, mix it with a Marvel's, you know, the story and the lore and all the characters, like this could be a huge like casual grab at a live service. This and it's I think it's rated teen. Well, actually, I don't think they got the rating. I'm assuming it's going to be rated teen. I don't think anything Marvel or Disney is going to come out and be rated M unless it's like Deadpool or The Simpsons. But still, I really do think that if they do this right, it could be very successful. And the fact that they're bringing it to PS5 for free if you buy it on PS4, the fact that it is Crystal Dynamic developing this when they made the Tomb Raider reboots, the three, the new trilogy or whatever,
Yeah.
they that like they make good games. They're not a terrible studio. I do believe that they're biting off a little more than they can chew by making a live service game when they've only really developed like 3 solid single player semi open world narrative adventure games. So it'll be really interesting to see when this game comes out, how it's received, because I feel like it's starting to get to this like level of saturation with not open world but live service games. So we'll have to see. I don't know. I'm curious, but I'm not like excited for it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much how I feel. Like, the game originally I was kind of meh. Like now seeing a little bit more how the game plays, I'm like, okay, I'm interested. I'm not just gonna throw my money at it, but I'm interested to see what they do with it. I'm just kind of curious to see how much content is really going to be here. Like, what kind of stuff. Okay, like the unlockables. I'm a big person for like in-game unlockables, and they're showing like this is Thor in his like
Oh yeah,
casual Friday outfit. You
yeah,
can get Hulk in the Planet Hulk armor, and I'm like, so is this going to be like the only kind of unlockables, like just different outfits, or like what are we talking about here? Like, am I going to be like running around as Iron Man in like a tuxedo blasting everybody? Like, what are we doing?
yeah. That is going to be odd, and I do think they announced that all character DLC will be free for everyone. So like when they add in a new character, it'll be free, which is good. That's a smart decision.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely glad that they're doing that. And, like I said, I'm not trying to, say this game's going to be terrible. I'm definitely interested in it. I'm just, me personally, trying to look at it and trying to figure out how I feel about what I've seen on the game so far.
Yeah, me too. I think last year they had said that a beta was going to be coming to PlayStation first, and then I'm assuming following Xbox and PC. So I'm assuming they're still honoring that. So maybe in the next month or two we'll get a beta. So maybe hopefully it's not one of those like, oh, you have to pre-order the game to get the beta. Instead it's like an open access type of beta, and you kind of hop in, check it out, kind of like what Anthem did.
Yeah. Well, I definitely hope, like, if they end up doing, like, a free-to-play beta, well, we'll both get in there, try it, and we'll do, like, a first impressions on it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We got to be careful about those because didn't we play the Anthem open beta together,
Yes.
and we were both very happy with the game. And then it came
Okay.
out.
I was happy with the combat, but I could not stand. Like, it kicked me
Oh
out like
yeah,
3 or 4 times. It was like buggy as crap.
yeah,
So, like, you might have had a good opinion of it, and like I said, the gameplay was pretty fun,
yeah,
but it was definitely really buggy. I would have been like, nah, stay away from this one. Like, that
yeah.
game just did not like me.
That is true. The one thing I will say about the Marvel's Avengers game is that I do feel like it won't be as buggy because it is Crystal Dynamics and it is Square Enix publishing it, and Square Enix is very good at having very polished games. I mean, look at Final Fantasy VII. I feel like that game was, if it was anything, it was polished.
Yes, no, I will definitely agree. That being said, I actually had an issue with Final Fantasy VII as well.
Oh no.
Um, yeah, I had, and when I first started playing it, the uh, the audio like glitched out. So anytime a character would start speaking, it sounded like someone was whispering down a hallway, and it would go from like in the cutscenes everything was fine. So it'd be like a big explosion, and they're like, "Cloud, come over here!" And then it goes to the part where you're like running, and they're like, "Cloud, we have to run down this thing."
That's
I'm like,
weird.
and it did that for a little bit, and I ended up was it deleting and reinstalling the game, and it still did it for a little bit. And I came back after what was it? They had patched the game. I waited
Yeah.
a couple days, and apparently it was something that was happening to quite a few people, and they ended up patching the bug out of it, and then it worked fine. But yeah, I just happened to be one of the lucky ones, I guess.
Wow. Okay. Well, I will publicly rescind my statement that Square Enix will publish a game that is polished, and apparently not.
Well, I mean, the
Well,
something like
yeah.
that I think is really hard to nail down because You know, it could be that only people who had some other game installed or whatever
Yeah.
kind of issue. And I'm still playing it on a launch PlayStation 4, so I
Yeah.
don't know if that had anything to do with it. But yeah, I mean, just a couple things like that.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, that's true.
I guess going on to some other news, a couple crossover events have been announced here, and I'm always a big fan of crossover stuff. I think that's pretty cool. So Smite, the MOBA game where you have like all the gods and goddesses like fighting each other, they're gonna have a crossover with the Avatar: The Last Airbender series. So Aang, Zuko, and Korra are going to be playable characters in Smite. Now, I don't really play Smite, but that sounds really cool to me. I think that's a
Yeah.
great way to like get people to play your game. What is it? The Dead by Daylight game that keeps like bringing in all these other like big horror franchise
Yeah.
characters. I'm like, I haven't really played that game, but I get that that's really cool. I'm like,
Yeah.
I like stuff like that. Um, and also, the Warden from For Honor is going to be a playable character in Samurai Showdown.
That's
So
odd.
that's very odd. Like, I mean, I get like what they're going for, since the whole thing in For Honor is like the knights versus the samurai and the Vikings. You have a samurai game, and now you have a knight in the game to fight with them. What I do think was really weird, though, is in the trailer, like it shows the two of them talking to each other, and then the knight starts talking in Japanese as well. I think it was a Japanese trailer, but I'm like, okay, hold up. I'm like, I get it's a foreign country, but still, I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah, that is pretty funny. But yeah. Do you still play For Honor?
Yes, I tend to get in. I haven't played it as much lately, um, mainly because some of the battle pass rewards have not been as much as I like. But I
Yeah.
still probably get in and play once every couple of months. It's a game I'll kind of play a bunch for a bit and unlock uh, whatever thing it is I'm going after, or if they're doing a really cool event, I'll play it a bunch while the event is going on, and then I'll kind of move over to something else. And I've kind of played it on and off. I played the ever living crap out of it the first year it was out, and since then I kind of go through phases where I might not play it for 3 months, and then I might play it for like 2 weeks straight, and then I might not play it for 6 months.
Oh wow. Well, I mean, they did something right then if they were able to capture people like that, and they're constantly updating it and bringing in new stuff and stuff. That's really cool. Ubisoft is definitely killing it these days.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, they have done a complete graphical overhaul of the game. They've added in like new effects to it, new like textures to really update the graphics of the game since it launched. They've added in a bunch of new levels, new modes, a lot of new gear, of course, new characters. Um, so I mean, I got to give it to them. I'm like they are really getting on the ball, and now they've started doing. I think this is their third battle pass, second battle pass.
Hmm.
So now they've started doing battle pass systems. Um, and one of the things I don't quite like about the battle pass system, and this is kind of how it's different from some of the other ones I've played. Okay, with Call of Duty, you know, they give you, different guns at different levels, or let's say, there's a gun you really want, um, and it's at level 70. Even as you're working up to level 70, you're still probably going to get like, camos and stickers and other cool stuff you might like. It's not just like, okay, I got to get up to 70 levels to get one thing I want. And with For Honor, it's not really like that. So For Honor has kind of the same customizations for every character in the game, and then it's all kind of staggered throughout their battle pass system. So like, if I play the Warden, I'm like, okay, I really want that emblem, but it's like level 90. Like, I have to get all the same emblem for all the characters I don't play as to get to the one that I want. And that's kind of
Yeah,
irritating to me.
yeah, that would be annoying. Having to you just kind of like play until you get what you can. Really.
So, I mean, one thing they could do is like, add in special types of gear. And again, a lot of the stuff they've been doing hasn't really been like mind boggling. I feel like their battle pass system, they're still pretty new at it. They're still trying to figure out what people want and want to play for. I just feel like they need to balance it out a little more. Give more stuff that where like when you get it, it unlocks it for like every character or a version of it for every character.
Yeah,
So instead of being like, oh man, I just like went up in the battle pass 20 levels. Oh, what cool stuff did you get? Well, nothing really. It's all for stuff for people I don't really use. Because you typically have, I have about 4 characters I like to play as. I have like 2 main characters I like to play as. But I mean, okay, if I'm getting all this stuff for these characters I don't really play as, because it's all toward the beginning, it's just luck of the draw. Like
yeah,
the character I play as could be at the very beginning. And I'm like, okay, sweet. I did 5 levels. I'm done. Or it could be at the very end, and it's like, great, now I got to do all this stuff for something I don't want.
yeah, yeah. That is unfortunate. Uh, Speaking of a game that doesn't have a battle pass now, Star Wars Squadron, which I totally assumed that it would come with a battle pass. So
Yeah,
I don't.
I'm. I think EA is really trying to get their credibility back after
Yeah,
Battlefront 2.
yeah, yeah. Probably. I would say so. I think it's safe to say. Although this game looks really awesome, uh, I'm definitely looking forward to it. And I'm assuming with no battle pass, that means that we're probably getting all the content in the game, and you can run through and like, oh yeah, I unlocked everything. Cool, solid game, and then you're done. I think that might be a pretty good idea.
Well, what I hope to see out of this is, they're saying it's going to have some story elements, probably play through the story, unlock some stuff, and then take it to multiplayer. I
Yeah.
think multiplayer is really going to be where this game shines
Oh yeah.
because that's going to be a ton of fun. Like I said, I'm really contemplating on getting the controls for playing this game in VR and have like the flight sticks to play it with
Yeah.
because I really want something like that. I just haven't really seen anything that really makes me go, ooh, that's the game I want to do that for. And this one's kind of making me feel that way.
Yeah. What was it? Ace Combat 7 had a VR mode, but I don't. I heard it wasn't like that good.
So one of my friends had Ace Combat 7 and some flight sticks, and
Oh wow.
he actually brought them over because he didn't have a VR. So we kind of joined forces and played it in VR. And what it was is the mode was really fun, but it wasn't the whole game. Like
Oh.
they originally said it, they're like, yeah, the whole game is going to be playable. You can do everything in VR, but it wasn't really. Like there was only like 3 or 4 shorter missions that you could play in VR, and then the rest of the single player campaign and the multiplayer was only on a flat screen.
Oh wow.
So I really thought about getting Ace Combat 7 when they were talking about how it's going to be VR compatible, but that was kind of right. Like there was some VR stuff in it, but it was kind of just tacked on. It wasn't like you could play the whole game in VR. And I don't really get why like you couldn't, because if they already did everything to make the game compatible with VR to do those missions, why could you not do the rest of it in VR?
Yeah. I guess something was broken or they ran out of time. I don't know. That is odd that they would say that and then just not release it as is. They just throw in a mode.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it seems like if you did the work, it just seems like a camera perspective. Like, okay, you already have the cockpits designed where you can see it in VR. You've already got the game capable of running in VR. Why only limit it to a couple of missions and not make the whole game capable of playing in VR? because then I would have definitely bought it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So that was a little confusing. On another confusing note, Mixer just got shut down.
Yeah.
So, what is it? Microsoft bought Mixer for like what, a couple $1 billion,
Yeah,
like just a
like
couple years ago.
I don't maybe 2 years max, but I feel closer to one.
And now they've decided that it's no longer lucrative, and it looks like they're trying to join forces with Facebook to fight Twitch. So this will be interesting. I'm really surprised that they're just going to go ahead and pull the plug like this.
Yeah, especially when they signed so many people like Ninja, huge Twitch streamer, got bought and moved to Mixer. He had a 3 year contract or 3 year deal that he got $10 million for every year. He hadn't even finished his first year, but they're paying out the deal because he signed a contract. So he just got $30 million in less than a year, and he's free to go wherever he wants. And
Yeah,
there's multiple people like Shroud. He's another popular streamer. All these people got their contracts were, you know, that paid out. Like this is crazy.
yeah, this seems like a huge financial loss. They had to be just hemorrhaging money on Mixer to justify doing this. Like, there had to be just 5 people watching Mixer, and they're like, our servers are costing all this money, our advertisements are costing all this money, we're paying all these people, and nobody's even looking at us.
Yeah.
Let's just burn it down.
Um,
Like,
when the articles were being written, like everything was coming out. If you went to Twitch, the top streamer could have anywhere from 40 to 160,000 viewers. On Mixer, the top viewer at the time was like 2,000, 3,000. So
ooh,
yeah, there is a huge difference. But now I'm very confused about them partnering with Facebook because when I go to Facebook, I don't think of video games. That's like when you go talk to your family and stuff. And like, it's very odd. I feel like this was just a terrible decision. They should have just shut Mixer down and then just not done anything.
yeah, I don't know what they're doing. It seems like as far as like the upper echelon in Microsoft, they don't have a very clear direction of which way they need to go right now.
Yeah, one thought I had that might be really exciting is what if the top execs that Microsoft got with Facebook and was like, hey, we'll shut down our Mixer service, partner with you to get people, into your gaming side of, the streaming and everything like that. In exchange, work with us on this Oculus VR stuff that you got. You know, instead of Microsoft investing into all the R&D into getting a VR unit, what do they just partner with Facebook that owns Oculus, and then the Oculus Quest or the Oculus Series X or something comes out and it's compatible with a next gen Xbox hardware.
I mean, that is a possibility, but I mean, Xbox, I mean, and Microsoft have already spent, millions and millions of dollars developing augmented reality, with what did they call it? The Microsoft
Uh,
AR goggles. I'm trying to remember what the name of it was.
I remember Illumaroom, but that wasn't the goggles.
Yeah,
I can't
they were
remember.
looked like they were mainly targeting like industrial uses with them,
Yeah,
but they kind of showed it could be used for gaming as well. Like they showed someone, playing Minecraft on their table in their living room and stuff, and they just kind of faded into obscurity. Like they haven't really done much with this technology. They spent all this money developing. So, and again, that shows a kind of a lack of vision. I mean, they just spent all this money on these AR goggles, and I don't really see them being marketed anywhere. Like, that's something they could definitely pair up with the Xbox to take on PlayStation VR and take a
yeah.
bite of that pie. But again, they're just kind of sitting on it.
Yeah, they're just doing stuff and then not because I don't think it's even commercially available. Even Illumaroom, which was like I think 2015 is when they showed that off, and it's still not available to like purchase anywhere. It's just shown at like tech rooms and conventions and stuff like that. Really
Yeah,
weird.
I don't understand what they're doing.
All right, and then with Ghost of Tsushima, they have finally gone gold. They had a really cool. Normally, when studios go gold, they post a picture with all of them together, and so it was kind of funny seeing like it's just a picture of all of their webcams and everything. So it was like a collage of all the developers, which is it was really interesting. But with this, they also showed some more gameplay. They showed a cinematic trailer, kind of a story trailer, and then they did a little in-depth look into the gameplay mechanics of the game, and that's where I got really excited because when the little snippets of gameplay we've seen previously, this game kind of looks like a Spider-Man slash Batman game where you just kind of like you hit square for maybe you hit square for light attacks, you hit triangle for heavy attacks, you'll counter, you can block, just very like simple combat. But what they showed and what they talked about was there's like four different modes of combat. There's like high strikes, there's low strikes, mid strikes, and then there's like leg strikes that you can do. And they all have their own move sets and they're all customizable. You can learn all these moves and you have to like enemies can go down in one hit, but so can you. So it's this game isn't about like hit square until the enemy's health goes down. It is about learning when to strike at the right time with the right move set from the right angle. And I am so excited for this game. Like that got me way more excited because the combat is going to be so in depth and not just a simple like button mash game, which I was expecting.
How are you this excited about this, but don't get into For Honor? It's like very similar.
I guess because I'm not fighting AI in a game like this that are better than me. So I can feel like I'm the cool dude that's, wreaking havoc and I'm not joining a match and just getting slaughtered after like 15 seconds.
Oh me, that's funny. Um,
Yeah, are you excited about Ghost of Tsushima?
I am. I'm probably not as excited about it as you are, but I do
Yeah.
think it looks really cool, and I'm like 60-40 leaning toward buying it. So like I'm probably gonna get it. I don't know if I'll get it like right at launch, but I'm like the more they keep showing about it, the more I'm interested in it. Like at first I was kind of like, I don't know, and then when they showed it, kind of opened up to like this almost like Red Dead and feudal Japan. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
man, that looks really cool. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
now you've got my interest. Giant open world, uh, kind of setting. I really get into that kind of stuff. And now they showed some more of the gameplay, and I'm a big For Honor fan. And I'm like, okay, I can get into this. I'm like, this is looking. Every little bit I see is making me a little bit more interested. You kind of scared me there when you were showing like you could play the game in black and white with like subtitles and all this.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, no, the game is like gorgeous. I don't want to play it in black and white.
Yeah, yeah, that's something I would do like on a new game plus, or if you have the option to like beat the story but you still have some side missions, I'd definitely switch it to the Kurosawa mode just to like experience it that way. But yeah, when they did the state of play back in God, it might have been like late May, I think. I totally like pre-ordered the deluxe digital edition. Like I totally got the most expensive version there was, at least on the PSN
Yeah.
store. But yeah, as soon as I saw that this is basically gameplay wise the same as like an Assassin's Creed, I was totally sold. And then they on top of that, they're like, oh yeah, there's a really in depth combat system as well. I'm like, okay, this game, I, like, obviously, The Last of Us Part Two is definitely going to be in the Game of the Year, conversation. I think Cyberpunk, which we'll talk about a little later, that's definitely going to be a contender. For me personally, I think Assassin's Creed Valhalla may be my game of the year as long as they don't like mess that up anyway.
Yeah.
But Ghost of Tsushima might be like the the underdog that just showed up and is like, oh man, this is a serious IP and a possible franchise
Man, I
that's
was
coming
I was
from a
just thinking about it. There's a lot of like really solid AAA games coming out this year. It's gonna be like a death match for Game of the Year this year.
yeah, and like there's still like Halo Infinite could potentially be, one of the best first person shooters ever. There's games that I bet haven't even been announced yet that are coming out this year that we don't know about. Like
Yeah.
this year could be a huge year, especially when next gen consoles, all this kind of stuff. So I'm super
So
excited.
So speaking of games I didn't know was coming out, Team 17 just released a new Worms game, or a trailer for a new Worms game. Have you ever played any of the Worms games in the past?
I always get Worms confused with Toe Jam and Earl, so I think no. I don't
Okay,
think so.
Worms has been like it's typically been a turn-based like 2D or 3D combat game where you can like destroy part of the level and you can pick up crazy and zany weapons, and it's pretty much like you have a team of worms and the other person has a team of worms and you're trying to kill their team before they kill your team. So sometimes you might want to like do something that like shoots the character directly to do damage. Sometimes you might want to like use a bomb or an airstrike to take out the land underneath them and have them like sink into like the abyss of the level. So it's typically been like they've always been like 2D. I did play Worms 3D a bunch. That one was a lot of fun. This one's taking it a bit different. So instead of just 2-player, this one is going to be a 30-player 3D, but on like 2 dimensions, battle royale game. So it'll have semi-destructible environments, and you'll be able to like everyone's going at once. It's not turn-based. This seems like it's just going to be wacky and crazy and a lot of fun. Like to me, this reminds me a lot of like Worms 3D. So I will probably be getting this one as soon as it comes out. Um, like I said, I've always had fun with some of the Worms games. I'm excited to see something new out of it. Yeah, it's something definitely way different than their previous iterations, but I'm happy to see them try something new, and we'll see how this goes. Could be great, could be trash.
That is pretty cool. And Worms, that game, I remember hearing about that game. It's been around. Like that franchise has been around for a while, right?
Oh yes, I think one of the original Worms games was on like the PlayStation 1 or 2. Is old.
Oh wow. Is it exclusive to PlayStation?
I don't think so. I can't remember if it's a console exclusive or not. I think they've had some on the PC. I want to say they've had some on Nintendo as well. I can't remember if they've had any on the Xbox or not. I want to say they probably have, so I'm pretty sure they've been on all the consoles.
Oh, okay. No, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'll have to check out that trailer because it's completely just blew over my head. I didn't even see it at all. But yeah, I'll give that a shot or give it a view. And then what else? We saw more in depth into Cyberpunk gameplay, and also there is a Netflix anime coming out, but not until 2022, which I thought was a little odd.
Yeah, that seems to me like if they were gonna really try and build hype over Cyberpunk, you'd want the show to come out when the game does. I
Yeah, no,
mean, is that crazy? Like they've been working on this game for like what, 8 years?
they
And
showed the trailer before Witcher 3 came out. Uh,
oh
like
my
I think,
goodness.
yeah, it was like 2013, 2014 is when they were like, "Hey, here's the reveal trailer," and they've been working on it probably like 2 to 3 years before that. So yeah, this is probably 8 to 10 years in the making.
I don't understand. I mean, don't get me wrong, I will definitely watch the anime. I think that'll be cool. I'm a big anime fan. Cyberpunk looks like it's going to be really cool. I just don't understand the timing here. Like, it's 2 years after launch. I mean, I guess that'll boost sales when it comes out, but to me, you'd probably want like the most hype in the game when the game comes out. And tons of people have Netflix. So even if you're like, oh, I don't know about Cyberpunk, and I don't really know about any of that, and you watch the anime, and you're like, oh my god, this looks really cool. I want more of this, and like the show ends and like check out more on the PlayStation and Xbox, buy Cyberpunk.
Yeah,
I think that'd be a great marketing move. I don't understand why it's so detached.
I wonder if because remember they did say that there was going to be a multiplayer component to Cyberpunk, but not at launch. I wonder if that's aiming for 2022, and so they're going to kind of like coincide those together.
Now, see, I had heard that the multiplayer part was going to be delayed like a year, and it would be coming out in 2021.
Huh. I don't know.
So
Yeah,
I,
that'll.
I don't know. Maybe they have more plans, and it ties in. Maybe it's like a plan for part of a DLC they're working on or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
they
I
do
just
have big DLCs in their games, so that would make sense if they got like a. Dude, what if they make like Cyberpunk like an anime game? I think that'd be kind of cool. Probably not, actually. Now
I
that
don't
I think
know.
about it.
Like the I could see them maybe introducing a character in the anime, and maybe that character then ties into like a DLC or something. Like that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah, that would be pretty neat.
So, um, continuing on, we got an announced trailer for Pokemon Unite, which has divided the Pokemon community like no other game.
yeah, yeah.
So
For a
I
game
find
called
this a bit
Pokemon
ironic.
Unite, yeah, it's I've never seen so many Pokemon fans just yell in their computer screens.
So
And
I
it looks cool though. I'm like it's a Pokemon MOBA. Like
Yeah, I'm like
that looks awesome.
I'm not a huge Pokemon fan. Like I know about it,
Yeah.
and like I know some of the Pokemon and some of the lore and all that. I'm just never been like a huge fan into it. But I'm like, this looks cool. This looks different. I'm like, I could get the allure of this. And then Pokemon fans are like, no, this is different. I don't like this. Give me the same thing. I'm
Which they
like,
just got.
I know they just got Sword and Shield, so
And then the DLC just came out too.
I'm very confused as to why this game's getting so much hate.
And
Uh,
like when this got announced, they also announced a new Pokemon Snap, and like all these different types of Pokemon games are getting announced, but then it's like, oh, you make a MOBA? Get out of here! Like what? That makes sense. You control the I don't know, animals, monsters, whatever they're called, the Pokemons. You control them, and
Pocket
it's yeah,
monsters.
yeah, Digimons. No,
Oh, you're gonna get hate off that now.
yeah, yeah. I might as well just delete my social media. But it's just like this looked cool. This ironically got me more excited about Pokemon than anything else. It's like, oh, this actually makes perfect sense to have a MOBA with Pokemon.
And what is it? The game itself. Well, I think what part of the reason of why it's getting some hate off of it is they said it's free to start, and I think that's
Oh yeah,
where people I could kind of get where people were getting on board with not liking the sound as much, because
yeah,
that sounds like free to play, but then like with a catch. It's
yeah,
like, oh yeah, isn't this game fun? Your timer's up. Please deposit a quarter to continue playing. Like I don't like the sound of that. But I mean, as far as the game goes itself, I mean, it looks cool to me. I'm not even a Pokemon fan, but I thought it looked cool.
yeah, yeah. Same here. I'm not a fan, but that out of all the announcements, when it showed Snap, I was like, oh, there's going to be a lot of people that are excited about that. And when they showed Unite, I'm like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. And then it's like, just a few hours later, the entire internet is just like, what the hell is this? All right, so moving on, we got Sony apparently has a manufacturing plant that can create a PS4 in 30 seconds. It's all automated, and I'm assuming that it's going to take some time for everything to be switched to like the PS5. But that kind of tells me that maybe first quarter, second quarter of next year, they're going to be full blown into making these PS5 consoles. And then, second, do you think that this is going to make them cheaper if they have a system that is like that can create them this fast? Would that actually affect like the price?
Well, I definitely think like this means that they'll be producing a console every 30 seconds. So like I think it would probably take a little longer to make one than just 30 seconds.
Yeah,
But I think that'd be like one rolling off the assembly line every 30 seconds. But I definitely think that Sony's understanding the position they're in right now of like, they were already going to have a limited launch, mainly for marketing reasons. They wanted to make sure there was going to be no pictures of like shelves full of PlayStations at Christmas. They wanted to sell out and be like this year's hot item, and then start next year with like a flood of PlayStations. And I think the coronavirus has really screwed up their plan on that.
Yeah.
So I think with this, they are probably looking towards something of like, oh my God, we have to ramp up production to like, an 11 out of a possible 10. Otherwise, like, we're really going to start pissing people off and people might switch back to Microsoft.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
that is true. So hopefully it doesn't come to that. And I really am starting to get anxious about when they're going to announce the price and when the pre-orders are going to go up. And I'm so terrified of like refresh, sold out.
yeah.
That's going to be the worst.
Yeah, I imagine it's going to be like as soon as you hear anything, if you don't run to the computer and pre-order one, they are going to be gone. And they'll probably be like sold out for a couple of months.
Yeah. But luckily, there's going to be some, at least some PS4 games coming out that'll keep us busy, at least until, January to March of next year. And
Yeah.
honestly, all I need is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So that'll keep me busy for a while.
Yeah. Lastly, this week, we had a bit of an announcement. Fallout is getting an Amazon TV show.
Yeah. That sounds cool. I'm excited about this.
No, this looked really cool. I really like how they showed this off as well. Like, showing it on the old screen and
Yeah, that was
going
neat.
into this. I know Fallout 76 got a lot of hate, but I really enjoyed Fallout 4.
Yeah.
And, setting a TV show in this universe, I think there's so much stuff you can do with this. Like, there's so many cool stories you can tell. Especially after the success of The Mandalorian, you could definitely put it in this kind of like grungy, war-torn, kind of world. With some really gritty characters and kind of give it that same kind of feel like The Mandalorian. I think the show would be great, and I definitely plan on watching this.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm definitely curious to see how they go about this. Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy are producing the show, and they created Westworld. And Jonathan Nolan is Christopher Nolan's brother, which I think that's. I mean, surely you can't be like, oh, your brother's good, so obviously you're good. But I'm assuming he's at least got some talent. I mean, he did create Westworld, and like I was telling you, like I think that'd be a really cool like season to do like an anthology and have like every episode focus on a different vault. Maybe have them go to the end of the vault, have the vault door open at the end of the episode, and then maybe set it up for season 2 and have them all congregate together or find each other, kind of like a Lost slash the 100 style show that they're all like placed in a world. So, I mean, the possibilities are endless because of the lore of Fallout, but it just depends on like how well they do this, and I don't know.
So,
I'm curious.
starting a show like this, do you think it's going to start in where the games take place, or do you think it's going to start in like the pseudo 1950s era before the war starts?
I really enjoyed the opening of Fallout 4, so I hope they do start off in the everything's normal, nothing's happening, and then they have the TVs, switch over to the alert or warnings, signal. That you hear a siren, everybody's coming outside, and they're all rushing to the shelters. I think that would be really cool. That'd be a really cool intro.
Yes, I think so too. And then, did you ever watch any of the CW shows like Arrow?
No, I haven't watched any of those.
I think it'd be kind of cool to have like one thing they do is they'll have like the main story going, and they'll have like flashbacks to like a story that happened like in the past that relates to what's happening now. Like do something kind of like that in this TV show, to where like you have a main character who's in the war torn, post apocalypse, dealing with an issue. It's like, oh man, I got to deal with this thing, and then flash back to like scientists and the Vault Tech Corporation people essentially causing that problem in the past.
That would be really cool. Or have like it's set, before the bombs went off, and it's following a detective trying to find a murder, like a mystery case, and then everything goes down. Everyone goes into the thing, and then you come back out, and then some time has passed, and then another murder has happened, and it's like mimicking the exact same thing that happened, however many hundreds of years before. And then all of a sudden, it's like, I mean, I don't know. I think that'd be pretty cool if they did. But see if they did like an anthology and have like every episode be a different story that somehow connects to each other. One of them could be a detective style thing. He's trying to solve a murder. The other one could be like it's one person wakes up, all the machines are open, and then it's like they're all ghouls, they're all zombies, and so it becomes like a horror type thing. There's so many things they can do.
I was just thinking about this. This would be kind of a cool collaboration of both those ideas.
Yeah.
Have like show each Vault character like in the post-apocalypse, and then tie it back to like the Vault Tech organization people from like the pre-apocalypse era setting stuff up, and the pre-apocalypse timeline would be consistent throughout every episode, but it would be showing like what the effects they did, because they did different experiments on different vaults, and then show it from the perspective of the people living through those experiments until you get to the end and have it all tied together in like a nice good bow and tie everything up.
That would be really cool.
I really hope it's something good and not trash, because now I'm excited.
Yeah, and it's unfortunately it is going to be a long time before this show comes out.
Well, maybe they'll hear this and get the idea and take it and make it an awesome show and credit us for the idea.
Yeah.
They probably won't credit us, but if that's what happens, you heard it here first.
Or better yet, Amazon, just hire us and we'll write it. You already got your executive producers. We'll just write it for you. I mean, we could, clearly Bethesda's okay with releasing Fallout 76, so they'll be okay with us, putting something together and writing it.
Okay, we're definitely not getting the job now.
No, yeah, that is true. I love Fallout 76. Fallout 76 has actually gotten pretty good. Whenever they added the Wastelanders and like the new seasons and stuff, it's actually good. They've added a battle pass system. They're giving you a bunch of stuff now, and they've added like there's raids, or they're not called raids, but they're like raids that you can sign up for. So you'll be in the game. Like let's say me and you were playing. We're just doing some missions, and like, oh hey, there's this event that's coming up, and it's tackling this super hard boss, and there's like a dungeon build up to it. We can queue ourselves in it. Once that queue gets full, it'll send us there, and then all of a sudden they're like, all right, it's me, you, and 4 to 6 other people, and then we're in a dungeon. We're fighting monsters, and then we build up to the big boss, the raid boss, and then we get a bunch of loot, and then you go back to where you were. That's super cool.
Was it Destiny did that with like the you'd have like a whole bunch of like incoming events, and have like the spider walker, and you have to like take it out and like take out the lieutenants and stuff like that. So I really like that idea. Those are fun.
Yeah, and then they added all the the NPCs now, like they all have dialogue and there's a story. So I'm actually interested to hop back in because I haven't played it since then, and I've heard only good things now.
Well, so you need to get back in there and then do like a review on the game as it is now and see how that stacks up.
Yeah, I played maybe 10 hours of it before they updated everything, so I'll see what how different it is, what they've added and stuff like that. It'd be fun. They released a trailer that showed a bunch of like their roadmap, so to speak, of like what's coming this year, and I'm assuming some of next year, and it looked like it's a healthy amount of content for a game that's almost 2 years old, which is kind of cool.
Well, tell us what you think about Fallout in the comments down below, and until next time, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.